So this is the spoilers discussion for Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. We wanted to introduce the new family pet here, Luna. We'll be probably interrupting these streams a lot. She's going to be probably in a lot of videos. She doesn't have a very loud meow, but we wanted to announce that before the video. And she's just turned off the light already. Luna. Man, you have to take her out of here. I just saw this movie for the second time. I know we did the review about a week ago. So we had meant to do the spoilers discussion earlier. We thought we were going to see the movie. But we wanted to go into depth about all the spoilers because there's a lot of spoilers in this movie. The new installment in the MCU. Why don't you just give your overall thoughts of the movie again before we get started?
Yeah, I'm trying to think back. Did I give it an 8 and you gave it an 8.5, or did I give it an 8.5?
I gave it an 8.5. You gave it an 8.
Yeah, I gave it an 8, and I think I felt the same way. I think I liked it a little bit more the second time watching it because I knew a little more of what was going on. But the first time I watched it, I definitely enjoyed it, and I think it's a solid addition to the universe, the MCU, and there's a lot to like about it, and the positives 100% outweigh the negatives, and it's one that I saw more than once in the theater, which I think says a lot by itself. Is what I thought of the movie.
This movie was also brought to you by our grandpa Howie, who paid for the tickets. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And he gave it, a 7 out of 10?
Yeah. So our grandfather gave it a 7 out of 10, and I believe our dad gave it a 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
So all scores were 7 and up, which is pretty solid right there.
Yeah.
And he enjoyed it. He was a little confused, I think, was his key word in his thoughts after the movie. I'll get into his thoughts a little bit later.
And he actually watched the TV shows. So.
Yeah, and he even saw the TV shows, which we didn't even see. So that says a lot right there. And now let's just get into the spoilers.
Yeah, so if we want to get into the biggest spoilers, what do we say? You already know that this is a crazy movie with the multiverse, and you've basically got the main character is Doctor Strange, you got Wong, you got the new character America,
Chavez,
which is basically the very big important part of this movie because she's able to go universe to universe. Doesn't really know how she's doing it. But it is pretty cool how it's like a star.
Yeah, I liked it.
And like it's a star how you walk through, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Then the biggest spoiler other than that, going into the main plot of the movie, is that Scarlet Witch is bad, which you pretty much know. You pretty much
I didn't know that.
Well, there was hints of it because she says how she's the bad guy, but then you don't really know for sure. But then the movie starts and gets pretty quick into it before you find out she's trying to kidnap America and she's trying to kill her, take the power and kill her just to see her kids. And she turns really dark and it's like a freaking demon.
Yeah, I would say Scarlet Witch, to me, when I saw the commercial, I kind of viewed that as it was going to be a different Scarlet Witch that was going to be the bad guy, and she was going to take the fall for it kind of a thing. I didn't think it was going to be the Scarlet Witch that we followed and grown to love and care for in the MCU. So it was definitely a surprise to me the first time, but then thinking about it, I totally understand why the Scarlet Witch in this universe, the current MCU universe that we followed from day one, would snap like this, because her only things that she cared about in life, Vision died, and she not only did he die, but she was the one that killed him. She also had a bad bringing up of just her being used for her powers from a child up, Ultron kind of empoisoning her mind, and just having a really messed up life. And then when she finally has something that she likes, she has to murder that thing, and then you find out that through Vision in that relationship, she found out that the multiverse was a real thing, and she had 2 boys, and that was going to be her happiness. And I guess that ties into the TV show, which I didn't know that till our grandfather told me today, that those 2 boys were actually from the TV show. So that actually makes me feel a little bit better about that storyline.
I was told that for the first
time.
So
I didn't know that at all till today. So it definitely makes things seem a little more complete, and I actually can buy it more if that's from the TV show a lot more than I thought the first time that was just 2 random boys. So I actually thought that was a pretty cool connection. I like seeing her turn into the... I take that back. I didn't want to see her turn into the villain, but she's definitely powerful enough to be like that, and I understand why her character did that. It wasn't like they just did that out of the blue. She would, in my opinion, have that kind of a snapping moment, and at the same time, they honored the character and had her make the right decision in the end. So really, she wasn't the villain. Even though she did murder a lot of people, she justified it by supposedly sacrificing herself to close the dark dimension, or what's it called, the dark hold.
Hold. Yeah, well, the thing is, I kind of agree. I didn't like that they made Scarlet Witch bad, but at the same time, the way they did it in the movie was good. I didn't like the fact that it was happening, but they dealt with it very well, and they made her basically like a demon. There's a lot of horror elements.
Yeah.
That the way that when she first attacks the main sanctum, she gets into their minds, but then in there she's crawling through the water and her like bones are snapping.
Yeah.
And those parts are really cool. And even the part where she possesses the other Scarlet Witch, I really like the horror element there.
Yeah.
How you see it like peek around the corner. I
Photo
still
album,
think
or the photo picture.
Yeah, the photo picture like looks and turns at her. And I wish they would have done more of that. I understand why they couldn't just do 10 minutes of that. I mean, they couldn't do that, but I wish they would have done more.
Ocean and the cop.
Yeah. I wish they would have done a whole movie, honestly,
Yeah.
like that, because you think about all the demon movies you watch, like The Nun, La Llorona, all those movies, that would be really interesting to watch.
Yeah.
But obviously, she's not there to haunt someone. She's just there
The
because
candle
that's
stuff
Scarlet
with candles going on and off throughout the movie. I will say, the whole stuff about Christine was kind of ties in from the first one. Obviously, those two were starting to become a couple in the first one before Doctor Strange really just kind of sells her out in the beginning, and then before he has the injury, or he's after the injury, and then kind of comes full circle. And it's kind of like the superhero arc where they can't be with the person that they like, because then I guess that would put them at like risk of getting killed by all the things that hate him.
Yeah, Iron Man.
But then it's kind of a cool just look into his mind. I like the beginning when he's at the wedding and he's obviously not very happy with what's going on. He has the fake answer.
Yeah.
And I liked how he went to go fight the opening fight scene to me. Not the opening one in the dream sequence. I like the design of the monsters. I like the design of like the ring thing, and then the eyeball monster. There was pretty cool designs. Now I will say this is probably the biggest complaint I think we both had in the movie, besides a couple minor things, was just the lack of Doctor Strange having boss moments. I mean, he had a couple moments, but did he ever really win one fight? Like in Thor, I feel like every Thor movie, he has one scene at least where he just absolutely just owns something. Like, just thinking off the top of my head, the rock thing in the second one where he just destroys that in one swoop.
Yeah.
And then this one that I'm looking at right now, the poster, Ragnarok, the very beginning, he takes out that lava guy in an awesome way, and like it's out of there. Like they respect the character. Like almost every superhero movie has a moment where they just own someone, and Doctor Strange never really defeated anything. I guess after he was struggling fighting the eyeball creature, he was able to destroy it, but that was after like being knocked unconscious. All this stuff's going on.
Yeah. With
Wong there helping out, America Chavez helping out a little bit. Like, that's not really a moment where he won a battle. So the lack of respect for Doctor Strange is actually something I would say is a negative in this, because they had a chance to come through at the end and have him have a boss fight, but they really fell flat, in my opinion, with that final. I don't even call it a final fight. The build-up was awesome, overcoming all the souls, or the souls of the damned, or the whatever. He gets them like forming like himself, which in the trailer I thought that was gonna be the real villain, was gonna be this like weird looking like monster thing, but then it's actually him. But yeah, there's no payoff really at the end at all. Unless this was called America Chavez: The Origins, then that would make sense. But it's not. It's not an America Chavez movie. You could have her help out maybe, but like even
yeah, I just think I agree that obviously Doctor Strange. I just think in the first Doctor Strange, you had the Ancient One there, you had Wong, but the Ancient One, obviously she's like hundreds of years old, so it's more understandable that she has everything down to a freaking science. Like when Doctor Strange walks in there, I mean, she's just toying with him but that's how Doctor Strange should be at this point. I mean, he hasn't been Doctor Strange relatively that long, but in the previous movies, remember when Thor saw Doctor Strange? Is just like getting sent around the room. Yeah. Doctor Strange's like, "You want some more beer?" And then he like fills it up. He should be in control that much, but this movie, it's like he doesn't know what's going on. He can't handle a single monster. I mean, the first one, another Doctor Strange loses to another one, but then he can't handle the eye monster. He gets knocked out immediately. He doesn't know about the multiverse, which is a little weird, and then he can't beat the thing in the middle, or what is he? He can't beat the weird like ghost things, and he can't beat Scarlet Witch, which makes sense that he couldn't beat her at first. But then at the end, once he gets the Darkhold, he should have been able to beat her then. At least put up a better fight than what he did, because he kind of just... I'm going all over the place.
I think, in my opinion, I think they could have switched at the end to make this a 9, maybe 9.5 out of 10, to be honest. But definitely a 9 is if you change the end sequence a little bit to where he's talking to America Chavez when Wong's holding Scarlet Witch in that like hold for like a few seconds, and he says, "Listen, you can't control your powers. I need you to open up a portal to help me fight Scarlet Witch. Like, you can control your power.
Yeah.
Don't say you're gonna beat this witch's butt, because that's not what her power
She
is. Her
still
power
doesn't
is,
even.
Her only power is, from my understanding, is to open up portals to different universes, which is a big power. And then guess what happens? He says that, and she like looks at him like weird, and then he fights Scarlet Witch for a solid like 2 to 3 minutes, maybe more. And then once he's like beating her finally, this fight, then all of a sudden America Chavez jumps up and opens up a portal to that house to see her kids, and like, then there you go, and then that's it. That would make 100% sense. Not her go over punch Scarlet Witch.
And she just took out so many people.
Sense.
She literally just killed like the entire Illuminati superpowered team, and then she's gonna beat her just by punching her. That's no sense.
That's not her. Yeah, exactly. And that's not her power. From my understanding, maybe she has a little bit of superpowers because she has that ability to like jump portals, but not fight Scarlet Witch when a bunch of trained people of the Magi people, freaking Doctor Strange, couldn't even do anything to her, and she's just shredding him in a second. So it's just like kind of takes you out of it a bit at the end, and then I don't know, just
the ending
was a little bit, definitely weaker parts, but it was I definitely liked the just jumping to different universes. I liked seeing the different worlds. The red light was definitely a funny moment in the one world. Cutting through all the paint world, the cartoon world, dinosaur blocks.
It's like a skeleton
all this
world.
stuff. Yeah, there was tons of weird things, which was cool to see. Yeah, so it's like, it was definitely cool to see that, and I think Wong did a good job.
I guess to get into the biggest spoilers, why don't we go to when Scarlet Witch fights the Illuminati, I guess? I'm skipping through a lot of stuff.
So then obviously the Illuminati thing is one of the biggest spoilers in the movie, is that they were trying to spoil us the freaking crap before the movie came out.
I don't know why.
I never actually saw until the movie, but the Professor X is the leader of the Illuminati. You have Captain Marvel, who is Rambo.
But she was
Agent Peggy Carter is Captain Britain. So I don't understand how that tied into that. And then you had the Elastoman guy, whatever you want to call him.
Who's from Mr. Fantastic?
His stretch guy from A Quiet Place. John Krasinski, I can't say his name, it's the John guy. And then you had the guy who can't, if he speaks, he like just destroys the Thunderbolt Ross.
I'm messing up all these
whatever
names.
His name is.
People are gonna be getting so
a guy
mad.
who like with like a fork on his forehead, and then that's it. And then obviously Baron Mordo is part of that too.
Yeah, Baron Mordo.
But then you have that big fight between Scarlet Witch, which is probably one of the funniest scenes, is when they're just being so overconfident in the movie. I'm like, hey, what is happening right now? Like, first of all, I'm mad you're talking crap on Doctor Strange, but then you're like downplaying how powerful Scarlet Witch is. I'm like, you can't be serious that this is like the route they're going, and then they really, it's almost like they did it on purpose to set up for. Though? I think it was, because then within a matter of minutes, you see Scarlet Witch, who's dreamwalking in her normal self, who's still Scarlet Witch, but just in like her normal clothes. There walks in, and she breaks in, and she's like, she's breached the walls. It's like, no crap, or like.
Yeah,
like
she's
whatever,
entered
like,
the building.
Yeah. No, what do you say? No crap.
Yeah, he's like, she's entered the building and says no crap, genius. But the thing is, that whole scene, it is very frustrating. That I'm sorry if you're a big Rambo fan, that girl from Captain Marvel. I'm sorry, but she's got to be the worst character in the history of Marvel.
Very unrelatable.
I mean, she's got to be the worst character. She is so annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, God. But the thing is, it makes no sense because they're acting like an a-hole to him the whole time, and that's why I feel like it's got to be on purpose. But then the reason I'll get to why I don't think it's on purpose completely after this.
I think it is.
But I know I'll get to why I don't think it's. I kind of don't think it is after this. But the thing is, because basically they're acting so arrogant to him. They're saying he's arrogant when they're literally being the most arrogant pieces of crap you could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
So they literally are saying that. It's the most ironic thing ever. They're saying how they have everything under control. They're so perfect. And like, well, we'll handle your Scarlet Witch. And then 2 seconds later, Scarlet Witch comes in like a freaking boss, just destroying everything and just absolutely freaking destroys these fools. And then they have nothing to say after that.
She destroys all the robots immediately. You even hear like an Ultron reference at that point. It says Ultron demands you to stop. So I don't know if that means that Ultron's good in this universe or what.
Yeah.
I heard him say Ultron to her, but then she comes in, has a great line to the John guy, whatever his name is, the Elastoman, Elastigirl, Elastoman, where she says, do your kids have do you have a wife, or like do your kids have a mother? And he's like, yeah. He's like, good. Then they won't have or then they'll still have a parent to take care of, which is a really awesome line. I mean, like she's about to freaking wreck these people if they don't get out of the way. And I thought I really liked that line. And then all of a sudden she destroys the loudmouth guy by taking away his mouth, and he makes a sound in his head. His brain just absolutely just goes to mush, which is one of the most graphic deaths in the MCU to this day, in my opinion. And then she turns the last man to just like
Mr.
strings.
Fantastic.
And whatever that his name is. I've never watched Fantastic Four.
Right.
So yeah, so just get out of here. But she turns Mr. Fantastic
Elastigman.
to is he not? Is that not what his powers are?
I have it wrong too. All right, let's go. We gotta wrap this up.
She turns Mr. Fantastic into like strings, then his head just demolishes, and then I'm like, dang, they just took out those two guys immediately, and then Peggy Carter, whatever, Agent Carter, gets her shield slashed through her, but of course they couldn't show it because it's
Well, it's PG-13. I mean, they can't show getting chopped in half.
But you can show someone's brain just going to mush.
Sure. I mean, they showed blood on the shields. It was still pretty.
Let's just say she's a different. Anyways, they cut her in half basically, and you see blood on the shield, so you still see the blood, and then the least graphic death for Rambo.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Because here's the thing. This is a quick side comment before I get back to the. First of all, so Scarlet Witch drops a statue on her, but this is exactly why Captain Marvel in our universe, the current Mohawk one that we're dealing with, is a problem, because she's so powerful that the fight sequences for her, no matter who it is, are going to be so just ridiculous. Because like even this one, Rambo, when she's fighting, they're like going in circles in the most ridiculous way because their powers are just so unrealistic and so just pathetic. Like, they're too good to where like when they're fighting, it's like what Time of Madness did. It's like all you see is like this. You see like flashes everywhere, close-ups, because you can't have a realistic fight between the two. There's a scene where Scarlet Witch and her are literally doing circles.
That was a little weird scene.
Immediately, it was like the fastest circles I've ever seen in my life. Till finally she fell, got her like ricochet off a wall, and she drops a statue on her, and you think she's dead. I confirm she's dead. And then they're all done. And Professor X comes in, and I'm not familiar with the X-Men or Fantastic Four, so I don't really know what their powers are. But it seemed like he had some kind of thinking power and brought her into a different dimension or some different like mental state to where maybe he could like talk to her inner self, but it obviously didn't work because her red mist comes in, and that's where you see her as like a demon. She snaps his neck, and then there goes the Illuminati. Except for Baron Mordo once again just disappears. You never see him again. That's like what he does in these Doctor Strange movies. Hopefully the third one, Baron Mordo, will be more of a focus, because I was expecting him to be the focal point in this movie, and you barely even see him.
Well, yeah, it's very confusing because you don't know if Baron Mordo is you know it's not the same one, but at the same time, was he still having the same issues with Doctor Strange? Did he still have the same goal of wanting to take out all magic users? You assume he did. You really don't know, though, because it's not the same one. I guess to get into some other big spoilers, obviously, to talk about the Illuminati scene, obviously it was really cool. It's the weird thing that what I was going to say is why I think it's kind of on purpose. Or why I think it might not be on purpose, why they're so arrogant, is that after they go storming out, they hear Scarlet Witch came in the building, and they went from confident to crapping their pants, so they go running out. Then the Professor X tells Doctor Strange, you can be unlike the other Doctor Stranges. I'm like, what are we talking about here? Yeah. What is so wrong with the Doctor Strange that he wants to fight bad guys? Because I'm assuming the other Doctor Stranges, at least the one we know...
He caused an incursion... destroy the whole universe, but he didn't mean to do that. Well,
at least the Doctor Strange we watched literally fought Dormammu and literally got killed 1,000,000 times over just to save the universe. So they act like Doctor Strange is this freaking a-hole and this terrible guy. He's literally saving people. I mean, yeah, he was an arrogant neurosurgeon. There's no doubt. He was still saving people's lives even at that point. But then he had his character arc. He saved the world, and he's been protecting the world for how long?
Yeah,
just because he's a good guy, and they're trying to act like he's so bad. So whether I thought it was because they were being arrogant and then they get killed, and like, okay, you guys don't know what you're talking about. But at the same time, the way the Professor X actually tells him that afterwards, because he's the more sane, calm one, makes me think that because Doctor Strange says thank you. So it's almost like the movie's trying to say they're right.
They also,
so that's what I don't know.
Just on top of the arrogant a-holes in whatever universe this was, and I'm glad it's not the universe that we're living in, was when they had Christine. They have her act like kind of like an a-hole immediately too, with just being overconfident, like she knows all these different things that she called the Doctor Strange that we're used to, the 616 Doctor Strange, and this is just like her creation. She's this like expert.
Yeah,
and then let's flash forward 10 minutes later. She couldn't even open the freaking case that America Chavez was in. Because I didn't even realize it until the second time watching it. You see her, she's like, I can't get it open. Like, I thought this was like your high tech thing that you created. You can't open the freaking cell. Remember that? She's trying to get the thing open and she can't get it open. Then she grabs a vase and tries hitting it. I'm like, didn't you create this? So were you
lying? She was trying to override it, but
why couldn't it open?
They needed him to stay in there. I didn't see that as
trying
much.
To get her out.
I didn't see that as much as the other ones because I kind of saw in that aspect where she had the Doctor Strange in her universe die. So seeing another one, I can understand why that would be weird.
Yeah, but
because like to see another Doctor Strange, she probably was like, okay, I don't want to get attached to this Doctor Strange.
I get that much, but
that's what I understood about that one. But then it is interesting.
But she's a fraud.
But that relationship was interesting in this one, obviously, because you see the one we know get married to someone else in the time that Doctor Strange was gone. And then in this movie, you see them kind of bonding, but it's kind of messed up because he knows he can't go back to his universe with her. Because then there's two of them.
He could.
Then there's two of them. That's just messed up.
He could if he wanted.
Have two Christines in the same world?
She just can't see him.
They can't live in the same country.
That's not a problem.
Can't live in the same... even close to each other. They have the same social security, the same friggin' phone number, address, fingerprint. But the thing is, maybe they have different phone numbers. But that was interesting to see them grow through that throughout the movie. And I thought that was interesting because even though I don't think it was necessary to have Christine marry someone else, but for the plot, I guess it was necessary. But why don't we get into after one of the Scarlet Witch fights, they friggin' pour water on her after she's trying to get out of there. The water comes down, and then the third or fourth time that America kind of makes the portal, Doctor Strange and Christine end up in this messed up world where everything's gone to crap. And Doctor Strange, that we know, faces the three-eyed Doctor Strange, which I thought was a really cool scene.
That's the world that basically was because the Doctor Strange that was the a-hole, supposedly, and the one that he got murdered by the Illuminati, that's the world that had the incursion happen to it.
Okay, that was Doctor Strange.
Because that's because when she said because Rambo made it clear that one of the universes was destroyed because of Doctor Strange, and it was that one.
How's that his fault?
Because he caused an incursion to where one universe. No, when he was trying to beat Thanos, he caused an incursion which killed an entire universe, which was that one.
How did he do that?
He tried to.
And that universe you don't see it. Okay.
That's why you saw it look like the universe was like crashing onto it. He caused an incursion for that.
That makes sense. So that scene is really cool though.
Yeah, the fight for the notes.
The Doctor Strange walks in the house, has a million stairs, and then he goes up, meets this other Doctor Strange, and he's really not bad. We were kind of talking about this. That Doctor Strange wasn't bad. He just didn't want to give him the Darkhold. So when they started fighting...
He wanted Christine, too.
They kind of fight. They push back and forth. Yeah, he did want Christine, so I guess he was bad. But, I forgot about that. He pushed him back into, like, the piano, and then the pages of notes get kicked up in the air. He takes the notes off of the pages and sends them at him.
Yeah, it's like an orchestra concert.
I did really like the scene. It gets a little crazy in the end, but I like how he sends the notes towards them. They're hitting him. Then he gets the notes back and sends back, like, more intense music. And then eventually they're just like sending stuff back so many times where there's like this giant ball of notes.
Yeah.
Then one little like what do you call it? Harp note makes like a really quiet scene. The one little note makes it explode. And I thought that was a really cool scene. And then Doctor Strange, the bad one, technically, ends up getting freaking impaled and dies.
Well, you think
going out the window.
Because then once you get into the most important end credit scene or the first end credit scene. Or I guess right before the first mid-credits was when you see Doctor Strange walking normally down the street, and all of a sudden he just like screams at the sky, and you see that he has a third eye, which it's not. See, our grandfather thought this, and I actually kind of agree with him to a point. It's not. They weren't saying that that's the Doctor Strange from the freaking castle. That's the main Doctor Strange. He just has the same toll that the other one took too from using the Darkhold. And then the funny thing about that though is after the mid-credits happen, then you see him walking down the street, just like I guess after he yelled. He must have just got up and just kept walking, or was it a different day?
He can make the eye disappear.
Dude, was he not just screaming like to the sky, and honestly he just gets up and just keeps walking?
Well, now he's just used to it. I don't know what's going on.
They should have showed him like yell, and then just get up and just keep walking normally.
And just starts walking.
Because then all of a sudden you see some lady that you don't know who she is. At least I didn't know who she was. A purple girl. says
Yeah.
you need to help fight Dormammu. Basically, you see Dormammu in the freaking window that she opens up.
Yeah.
Because I guess he caused an incursion, another incursion somewhere.
A lot of incursions.
So he's just causing a lot of incursions everywhere.
But why don't we get to
the final end credit scene was that guy we had punching himself.
I did want to talk about the biggest flaw of the movie, and it's basically the end where Doctor Strange gets really convoluted when he gets the Darkhold. Because when Scarlet Witch gets it, she's just powerful. Yeah. It's pretty simple for the most part.
She's herself.
But Doctor Strange, I guess maybe because he doesn't know as much about it, he gets the Darkhold and gets the dead zombie body. He's able to dream walk and then get all these demons eventually to contain them and kind of uses them to go up there. And I expected him to just be able to, like, destroy Scarlet Witch or at least have a good fight. But he kind of goes up there, saves Wong, sends the demons to attack Scarlet Witch, and then he's basically just a freaking walker on the ground. And he's useless. When I think this movie really could have done well with they're fighting, Doctor Strange is kicking her butt, she figures something out, maybe she's about to, it's getting close, and they're kind of fighting to where one of them's about to kill the other, and then maybe America opens the portal, and then that happens. Yeah. I think that would have been a better way to deal with that.
Or, how about this?
Doctor Strange wasn't able to do anything once again.
How about this? So you don't have a freaking Walker as your freaking main hero here. America Chavez opens up a portal to let normal Doctor Strange step through and fight as himself.
Sure, that would have been interesting.
Then he steps in as his actual fully formed self and fights her one-on-one, not as a walker, because the only time you actually see him after he gets knocked down, he says wait as his freaking arms freaking he's like, oh, it's like his arms like melt. Half his body is freaking melted. He's like, wait, not yet.
I know.
That's like his
dying.
Most times we saw this, people laughed at that, which I don't think it's supposed to be a joke. Because she's about to push her into something, or something about to happen.
He's really burning his body.
Because she was about to do something. She was like yelling at the kids or trying to get the kids to like her. And he's like, wait, not yet.
Strange.
Let's just do the best line of the movie here, and then we can cut it off.
Yeah.
I got some footage here.
So overall, I give it an 8.5. I think I might lower it to an 8. We can't really go around changing the scores. If I had to be honest, I think it's around 8.5. With a good ending, this could have been. I think I'll probably keep it 8.5 because I think with a good ending, this could have been close to a 9 or 10. Yeah. The ending just fell flat for me. Just did not give me that satisfying ending fight that a lot of movies have failed to do that I've watched. So that was a little disappointing. I think it still stays an 8.5. Yep. But I enjoyed it.
No, definitely. I'll keep my 8.8 or 8 out of 10 for sure for Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness. But thanks for watching our spoilers discussion for that. Let us know in the comments what you thought of the movie, and you can talk about the spoilers all you want in the comment section. Stay tuned for this week. We're going to see Maverick at some point.
We're going to try to see as many movies as we can. Yeah. Trying to see as many movies as we can. I think seeing the Nope movie, I might see that because I've been more interested in that.
The book. Definitely a solid movie. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.
Oh my gosh. Sorry. Phil, did you get that film?
Yeah, but no, it's not funny. You know.
Is she looking right in?
She did for a second.
Oh,
Kitty.
no.
Oh my gosh, this is just another blooper here. We got the cat ruining the video. Kitty, you cannot eat that.